Hey! Before we start this show, I need y'all to stop what you're doing, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can stay on top of what the Plug-in Orlando is doing. We got some great content for you and we can't wait to show it to you. So, click that button.
Welcome to the Plug-in Orlando. I am your boy, Sir Trends.
And I am the creative.
Hey, man, Dr. Sass and the boss not here today, but we gotta continue to plug in and give people what's going on. And, man, just the positivity that we gotta continue to spread, the hope, the love, the peace. Right. And, man, starting off with just the unusual that we did not expect
2020
seeing.
has won the award of being crazy.
Hey, we didn't see it coming
at all.
If there's any t-shirt line out there that says 2020, we didn't see it coming, that should be the uniform for every day.
We didn't see it coming.
We did not see it coming
at all.
Chad.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Right.
The Black Panther.
Gone.
Yeah. We did not see that coming.
No. And I think that's the crazy thing about in the world we live in, because it's so easy to immortalize a person like, oh yeah, they'll be here forever. Like, oh, this is Black Panther. This is Chadwick Boseman. Like, he's not about to die. He's still young.
Yeah.
But August 28th, 2020 hit, and he's gone.
Colon cancer.
Right.
Cancer sucks.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
But, you know, the positive things I can pull from his life. Not only is he a leader, but man, he had a profound character outside of what he was doing.
Right. Outside of the roles he was playing. Like, he really lived this thing. Like,
yeah.
You can really drink from his water. Like,
this,
he's not a joke.
Yeah, this one hit me different. And just doing some research behind him, man. First of all, I didn't know his middle name was Aaron. I was like, yo, if I do red carpet, I get to say, Aaron, what's up, like, man?
How do you know my name?
Yeah.
Aaron?
But, you know, not being able to have that chance, man, is just really heartbreaking. But, you know, to know that he's an American actor and a producer, and to see him in movies like, you know, Jackie Robinson, 42, you know, you
Marshall.
had, which one?
Wasn't Thurgood Marshall?
You had Thurgood Marshall back in 2017, and then you had what was another good one? James Brown, Get On Up, you know, back in 2014, and then you had his big role like Black Panther. You know, I mean, of course, he went on and played in so many movies, but I mean, 2016, diagnosed with colon cancer and still be able to do 7 movies. Mm-hmm. When someone like me, right, Will, who catch a cramp and don't feel like going to the gym.
Taking off.
But here is somebody shifting culture, changing the narrative as an actor.
Mm-hmm. It just showed that he, beyond... Because people get so caught up like, oh my God, I'm on TV, I'm on the big screen, and I got all these people coming to my parties.
Yeah.
But you can tell, like, beyond the big screen being a platform for him, like, he really tied a mission to it. He really tied a purpose. And especially after being diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016, I could just assume that he was like, man, if I'm going to have this platform, I don't know how much time I got left, but I'm going to make every word count. I'm going to make every theatrical moment, interview count, because he knew that he had a small window to impact whomever.
Yeah.
And he used it. He used it very well.
People like Chad, I call them, and this is what I call them. This is my word, this is my t-shirt line, purpose shakers. Mm. You know, they go into places where it needs to be shaken. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like they reconfigure the atmosphere. They rewire the mind of people. Mm-hmm. And they come in and they shake up a foundation that's built on
vanity. Like that.
I don't even know what word to say at that moment.
Right.
But he's just a purpose shaker. Mm-hmm. Like, you can tell in every speech, I mean, and it's sad that when people die, that's when their work goes viral.
Right.
Their words go viral.
Right.
I mean, Chad. Black Panther. I'm still thinking about it.
Like,
Wakanda.
Right. It almost seems like this is a movie. Like, it's one of those parts like, okay, this is it's more to come. Like, this can't be the end.
And I bet you we have people plugging in right now and they're saying the same thing in the comments.
Right.
Like, yo, we didn't see that one coming.
At all.
You know, someone who is, first of all, every red carpet, my dog has swag.
He was fly.
Hey, man, he killed it. Right. I mean, his outfit, my favorite one was the one with the white that he had on with the cross on the side. I mean, that was dope. But, man, to see him speak at Howard University, it's like, you know, we're going down memory lane right now, man. And I'm taking these pauses because I'm just really reflecting on who this guy was, man. I didn't even meet him in person, but you can feel it through the lives of other people who are writing about him throughout the internet.
Right. And that just speaks to just the life he lived. Like, he lived a life that people could take pieces of it, but yet it would feed so many areas. And
you can see the areas he's feeding because at the Howard University, the facial expressions of people there, I mean, you could tell that they were receiving what he was saying because he came from Howard as a theater student, you know. But while we're talking about this, let's go into this video so everybody can see what we're talking about and where this is stemming from.
Right.
I thought of Ali in the middle of the yard. In his elder years, drawing from his victories and his losses. At that moment, I realized something new about the greatness of Ali and how he carried his crown. I realized that he was transferring something to me on that day. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter in me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Graduating class, hear me well on this day. When you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When I dare to challenge the system that would relegate us to victims and stereotypes with no clear historical backgrounds, no hopes or talents, when I questioned that method of portrayal, a different path opened up for me. The path to my destiny. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. If it's meant for you, I don't know what your future is, but if you are willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Now, this is your time. The light of new realization shines on you today. Howard's legacy is not wrapped up in the money that you will make, but the challenges that you choose to confront. As you submits to your past. Press on with pride and press on with purpose. God bless you. I love you, Howard. Howard Webb.
Will.
Speechless. It made me want to go put on my tassel again so I can in my living room and regraduate.
What do you say to someone that dropped nuggets like purpose crosses discipline?
I mean, it forces me to really think about, because a lot of people think purpose is supposed to bring money.
Yeah.
Purpose is supposed to bring all these things that's going to benefit our life. But they never think about purpose comes with you being disciplined.
Yeah.
Because with all these, if you are successful, you do become a millionaire. You do have a social media following of over 1 million likes or followers. Like, you have to be disciplined with that. You can't take that for granted, because whatever word that you speak or whatever lifestyle that you portray, it's going to be consumed by millions of people.
Well, you definitely know Chad was definitely consumed in every word that he's spoken that day. You can see it in people's face. You can see it in just his posture. You know, one of my favorite parts were when he talked about Jeremiah 29 verse 11, because we live in a generation where people don't feel like there's a purpose for their life. You got suicidal rates at its highest. You have people depressed at its highest. You got a lot of people dealing with anxiety and fear. And here he comes so smooth, like Wakanda.
Right.
And he says, Jeremiah 29 verse 11, for I know the plan that I have for you, declares the Lord, a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. While he's up there, he's going through what he's going through. Right. But you can tell that his peace was rested on that Bible verse.
Right. So no matter what I'm going through, no matter what is thrown at me, I've already anchored myself that God knows the plan. This is where I am, and I got work to do.
Yeah, and I think with what we're dealing with today in America, as far as racism and police brutality and culture identity, the culture just trying to identify with themselves who they are. You know, what are you called to do? I think this is a great pivotal point for us to look at Chad and say, man, if there's a starting point that I need in my life to redirect me into my purpose, I need to go back and listen to what Chad is saying. Right. Because in every video, Chad is dropping those nuggets.
Gold nuggets.
I mean, he is shaking up
Not
some
fool's
things.
gold. That's the real gold. But
you can tell also, man, that, man, shout out to his wife, Taylor, just building a man. It takes a lot as a woman to build a man who has to deal with what they're dealing with right now, in that industry, because we hear it a lot. Hollywood is not an easy place. You got to fight for everything.
Right.
And here he is, morals, integrity, principles. That's who Chad was. You could tell his wife was a part of that mission, right, and she helped develop him as a man.
Right. And I think having that support, even with the wife, you can tell he had to have a supportive team.
Yeah.
And then even when I believe there was a video where he's honoring Denzel Washington. So
we got to see that.
Even the moment of him letting us into, like, he didn't get to where he's at on his own. Yeah. And he was willing to show, like, hey, these people helped me get here. Whether he vocally said it or you just saw the team that was around him.
Yeah. You could definitely feel the honor that was coming out of his heart. And I think sometimes we miss that. Mm-hmm. We forget to honor those who've poured back into us, who sowed a seed in our path to get to where we are. And that's why I really love this video that's coming up right now. Y'all check it out. It's a 2-minute clip that's talking about a lot in 2 minutes. I mean, he dropped them nuggets.
Some bombs. Right.
So y'all check out this video with
Denzel Washington.
with Denzel Washington being honored by Chad.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chadwick Boseman.
I know personally that your generosity extends past what you have given on the stage and screen. Many of you already know the story that Mr. Washington, when asked by Phylicia Rashad to join her in assisting 9 theater students from Howard University who had been accepted to a summer acting program at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford, he gracefully and privately agreed to contribute. As fate would have it, I was one of the students that he paid for. Imagine receiving a letter that your tuition for that summer was paid for and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet. I have no doubt that there are similar stories at boys and girls clubs and theaters and churches across the country where I know you have also inspired and motivated others. An offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith. There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. And not just because of me, but my whole cast, that generation stands on your shoulders. The daily battles won, the 1,000 territories gained, the many sacrifices you made for the culture on film sets through your career, the things you refused to compromise along the way, laid the blueprints for us to follow. And so now, let he who has watered be watered. Let he who has given be given to. It is an honor to now know you, to learn from you, and join in this work with you. May God bless you exceedingly and abundantly more in what's in store than he ever has before. God bless you.
Woo! Well, I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more.
Look, if Melania Trump was to steal any speech,
that's the
she
speech.
should have got that speech. But just the nuggets that he said in 2 minutes, like people, we can't get them to be quiet.
Yeah.
And they don't say nothing, but yet he was able to frame in that small amount of time to honor a man.
Yeah.
Because we know Denzel Washington with the endless films that he's done and
dude.
just the doors that he's opened for other actors or just other people.
Yeah.
So for Chadwick to really use an opportunity to say, hey, I was one of those people that you poured into.
Wow.
And to say, hey, you deserve to be watered just like you watered me. Just like you, because there was a story that Chadwick was saying that Phylicia Rashad from the Cosbys and Denzel Washington had an opportunity to sponsor some kids to go forth in this theater program at Howard University.
Yep.
And Chadwick, he was like, well, I happen to be one of those people. So it's it's a full circle moment for one, because we know Denzel, he's very a man of a few words off screen.
Yeah.
So to be in a room and it's like, hey, someone is telling like, hey, I was one of the people that you blessed. It was like, whoa, it's full. It just shows you like, wow, look what I've done.
Yeah.
And we know Chadwick, he brought Black Panther to like
the
rise. He was like, there will be no Black Panther if it wasn't for Denzel Washington.
And you know
that statement.
And you know what's beautiful too, man? I pulled from that, Will, as you're talking, you just brought this vision to me that your blessing comes in the process of working. You know, if Chad was not in a position of working in theater to be the best at his gift that he could be, then he would have never experienced the blessing that Denzel and them were planning to give to those students. And oftentimes in life, we miss the blessing because we're complaining rather than working.
Right.
And this is the only generation, our generation, the millennial generation, that we see that they want success like the microwave. Like, you know, everything has to come
work like
quick.
that.
It don't work like that. Because obviously you can tell that Chad went through the fire and that's what refined him as gold. That's what increased the value of his gift and increased the value of his mind and his soul, because for him to honor Denzel, most people don't even come back and say thank you.
To nothing.
To nothing. To nothing.
Because he could have just used that opportunity like, oh yeah, he could even, because we already know Black Panther got to a place, a level to where you don't got to honor nobody. I'm Black Panther.
Right.
Like I got t-shirts,
Come on,
I got
dude.
people showing up to the movie theater and all this garment. Like I attained a level of status, so I don't got to honor nobody. But for him to say like, even with me getting all these accolades, let me come back and say thank you, Denzel.
And that you can tell in Denzel's face
It's like, ooh.
that was the first time someone took the time out and say thank you. And for him to say, yo, Denzel, you laid out the blueprint, but because of the weight that you carried on your shoulder, we were able to overcome where we are today as black actors.
Right.
And you see that this guy Chad is amazing.
Right.
And I think we're not only going to feel the effect today, but we're going to feel it for generations to come. Because when we have kids, they're going to say, dad, yo. So who is that? And this is the moment where we get to sit them down and tell them great stories of a great man who once walked the earth and took seriousness in his gift to produce the best character out of what they gave him with what God has blessed him with.
Right. And I think beyond us seeing him just on screen, he made it a point to say, even with this purpose that I have, my biggest mission, my biggest goal is to serve, to love on people. Even while he was sick, he was going to hospitals, visiting kids.
Come on, dude.
Like, come on. Like, we make an excuse like, oh man, I think it's going to be a storm outside. I ain't going nowhere.
Come on.
But this dude had a diagnosis. This dude had all these different adversities. I know his schedule was crazy.
Come on, dude.
But he still made it a point to go show up just for whoever he would have been able to affect.
And those kids were so happy.
Right.
And to lead is to have humility.
Right.
To have humility is to be humble.
Right.
To be humble is to become a leader.
Right.
And that's what Chad represents.
Right.
And I think that's why the world is not only saddened like Kobe Bryant, when Kobe Bryant died, but the world is saddened because in this trying time, we need that outlook of great leadership.
Right.
And man, talking about leadership, man, Chad, listen, your family, we're praying. Taylor, we're praying for you. We're praying for the entire family.
Yeah.
That God will definitely heal you all and bring you peace in this season. Thank you so much for plugging in with us and watching this. And just let you know that your husband was a great man. He is honored, and he will continue to be honored.
Right. Through his work, through his art.
Through his heart.
And I'm pretty sure he left the legacy where he going to keep them working.
Yeah.
Like, they going to be busy. Like,
nah, they ain't, man. Right. Yo, talk about that, man. Let's go into Pastor John Gray.
Yeah.
Man, watching this news, I'm not, it struck a chord, because, right now in the season that we're in, it's important that the church is that lighthouse on top of the hill. And with all these issues that are happening, for me, it's like, man, what can we do to help make not only Pastor John Gray accountable, but other leaders who are preaching the gospel?
I think it's not even about what we can do. It's like sharing the simple truth is like, hey, we all have shortcomings. Even Paul talked about how he had a thorn.
Yeah.
But even with that, it's about having the people that are around you.
Yeah.
It's like accountability is a safety net.
Yeah.
Like being able to talk to somebody. Because what is the point of you being, and again, I love Pastor John Gray. He probably has a platform that
phenomenal ministry
is going way beyond what I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not dishonoring that.
Right.
But it's like, even at that level, it's like, it's heartbreaking to know that these things come up and you still, there's something you're not getting.
Right. And I think it's more of, taking the season away, right? Self-care, and really spend time with the Holy Spirit. Because when things occur sometimes, when calamity happens in life, it's two things we do. We channel into a place of being alone and not wanting to deal with it, or we go into this facade of acting like we're this person when really we're this person. And I think right now in this season, Pastor John Gray have to really just take time away and spend time with his family, right? Build that ministry first. 1 Timothy chapter 3 talks about the ministry in your home first, right? Before you can lead anything, you got to be able to lead your home. And I think this is a perfect season where, he can take some time away to really spend time with his family. Because these bloggers, they out here writing. Right. And I'm telling you, they're throwing dirt on him as if they don't have dirt themselves.
Right. but that's what happens when you're in a public platform. And beyond I'm gonna take it a step deeper. Beyond him just dealing with his family, I think he really needs to see what's going on within himself.
Yeah.
Because it first start unless you see yourself in a good way.
Yeah.
And I'm not a father yet, and I'm not a husband yet. But
it's about to happen.
But I can say before you can lead anybody else,
Right.
you have to be you have to be accountable with yourself.
Right.
And from there, it's like, man, I really need help, or man, I really need to. And for those of you that don't know what's going on, we're not going to get into the whole thing of it,
Right.
but there's some immoral flaws that have come up yet again in Pastor John Gray's just life, and he just happens to be on a public platform. But as men, we all know we have stuff, but the safety of accountability, the safety of just being able to share with covenant relationships outside of the camera, because the camera gets old.
It does.
Like
easy.
I need to really be able to, I can't always be on camera. I need to be able to talk to somebody and really deal with trauma or deal with whatever that's causing these mishaps to keep happening.
And you know, and here's a transparent moment. I remember when I was having a difficult time in my marriage, you know, and my wife felt like I put the ministry first, you know, and putting the ministry first wasn't good. So I had to really take time away. I took a whole year off of ministry to really focus on the ministry in my home. And man, you know, the great thing about it was I learned more about my weakness, you know, and I also learned more about leadership, you know, downgrading your pride for further direction of growth and security in the heart of my wife, you know. So I was grateful enough to know that I was sick. And to be sick is not to saying that you're dying, but to be sick is knowing that you need an extra step in help to grow in an area that needs attention. And, you know, I think Pastor John Gray just really needs to take this time out and really just say, hey, man, it's all right. I mean, you're a human being. Like, things do happen. You do get out. You do drive your car and get into an accident, God forbid, right? You go to a restaurant and the food wasn't cooked all the way. Your stomach hurts, right? We fart. We do all that stuff, right? But it happens.
Really?
That's a reality. And do not feel like you're incarcerated by this
platform.
Do not feel like you're incarcerated by it. You just need to be reminded that at the end of the day, you are human, but there's a responsibility with your platform.
No,
right?
it definitely does.
And who, remember, to whom is given, much is required. Much is required to whom is given. Therefore, when God calls you, you know the requirements that come with it.
Right.
But it is also your responsibility and your free will to find people that can hold you accountable and that can help you manage your responsibility. Right. Just like Moses, right? Jethro had to help Moses, right? Yeah. You know, to manage what God has given him, because they were going crazy through the wilderness.
And that didn't make him less than a man, because Moses was the deliverer of Israel.
Right.
But yet he was still able to be humble enough to listen to a patriarch, his father-in-law.
Right.
And to where it's like, okay, let me listen to this wisdom. And it didn't make him less than a man.
Right.
So even us as leaders, beyond Pastor John Gray, we need to know as men, it's okay when help comes. It doesn't make us less of a man.
Yeah.
But if anything, it strengthens us even more in our role to know, hey, I'm going to use my help.
Yeah.
This way I can be more impactful and I can really show the behind the scenes. Because what benefit is it to be looked or seen as a certain way, but then you die in the end, and it tarnishes your whole legacy?
Because it's not healthy in a ministry to be a vase of water and have cracks at the bottom. It's not. Because at the end of the day, who's going to mold that? Who's going to fix it, right? Right? Who's going to do that, right? So it's almost like you need your wife. Because when she see the cracks, she knows where to pray for it, right? Where she see the water leaking, she know how to fix it, because God gives her the gift, and God gives her the assignment to cover you while you're covering your family, while you're covering the ministry, while you're doing all those things. So, you know, I really hope Pastor John Gray really takes some time out and really reinvest in him. Yeah, you know, and deal with the little boy that's been bothering him for a while, as they say, right? So the main thing is just focus on you in this season, you know, because you're already take on the world. That means you're fighting everybody else's demon. And if you have your own demon that you're fighting,
that's still gonna be there.
Listen, still gonna be there. Welcome home. You want to make sure, you know, and you know, once again, man, leadership is all about humility. We see that from Chad.
Right.
You know, you couldn't tell whether his marriage, anything was going on in his marriage, but you can tell that his marriage had effective communication because of the type of man he was, right? So just continue to trust God through this process and allow God to really fix you in the Caesar, Pastor John. I mean, your word is great. You know, the ministry is phenomenal, and we don't want sheeps to lose hope because of a minor mistake that built up to where it is now. Right. You know, so man, Will, if there's a word that we can share with everybody before we disconnect here, man, what is that word you'll give everybody?
I would just say just be practical. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, if you're gonna really be effective, you gotta be practical with yourself and do it for you, and then it's gonna affect other people. Like don't just be so caught up on, I gotta look this certain part and then you're still dying. No, really look to see what's going on and say, hey, this is what I need to do. Right. And then move forward. But a lot of people try to hold on to more stuff that we don't need.
And I just want to remind you that, you know, you are valuable.
Right.
You know, purpose is calling your name. You know, stop living life recklessly. And as we can see with Chad, that, you know, 43 years, man, within a short period of time, he's impacted so many people. So imagine and still impacting people. So imagine how much you can do in just 24 hours, how much you can do in an hour. I mean, how much you can do in a minute, or how much you can do in a second, right? Because breathing is a miracle. You know, even scientists trying to still understand how oxygen develops within us. But, you know, that's a God-given gift, you know, and it's a miracle. So thank you so much for plugging in this week. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Sir Trends.
And I am the creative.
And don't get left out.
Plug in.
Woo! I know you enjoyed that episode, but we want you to join the Plug In family. Connect with us, plug into our outlet, subscribe to this YouTube channel right now. Click that notification and don't get left out. Plug in.